Ladies and gentlemen, Collingwood versus Sydney, Friday night, gather round. Can't stand Sydney either. I don't know why. I've always had some hatred in my heart for the red and the white. And I feel like it was accentuated by me going to Sydney in 2022 by a bus and then experiencing that loss. And I vividly remember when I was walking back from the stadium, within the stadium to the bus, I just remember all the Sydney fans celebrating and just bumping into all the Collingwood fans. And yeah, that was unpleasant. I mean, on the way up there, the vibe was high. And then on the way back, a 10-hour trip on the way there felt like a 24-hour trip on the way back. So I digress. I think I made my point, and I'd love to see Collingwood beat Sydney for many reasons. One of them being we could go in or walk out a gather round at 4-1 with quite a difficult fixture, and then we have Brisbane in on Easter Thursday, and I'd like to have as many wins in the bank as possible before we get there. Sydney have the same excuse that we have with our injuries, so I feel like naturally they just cancel each other out at this point. Sydney have Goulden, Papley, Mills, Melican, Adams. They've got a bunch of players out. So, and you could argue it's worse than our injury list at the moment. We have at the moment for this game Jordan De Goey out, Lockie Schultz, and those are our starting players that would make the squad if they were available. Outside of that, we're talking Tom Mitchell, Ash Johnson, Harvey Harrison, these sort of players who, they're probably they're more fringe players if we're being honest, right? So it's a massive, massive game, and we travel and play very well in Adelaide. It may as well be our second home. We may as well play there every 3 weeks. We have a good record, so we can hopefully bank on that. But Sydney go into this game with some really good form coming out of the game against North, and they started 0-2 and they bounced back quite quickly. They moved the magnets and put McCartan back into the defense. They got Chad Warner, who's playing forward or played forward against North, so I'm not sure if they're sort of saving his petrol tickets for a game like Collingwood, but they really brought the forward half heat to North Melbourne and really just crucified their defensive errors. And that was sort of reminded me of the game we had early last year against Sydney, where we just turned it over for free in our forward half. And when you allow that against a side like Sydney, who were the number one turnover side last year, they scored well over 70 points from turnover against North Melbourne. I don't care who the opposition is at this point. It's a massive issue. So hopefully we have that corrected. It seems we have had that corrected for quite some time now, but the issue is obviously I forget to mention Dan Houston is not going to be in the side, so we're going to lose that poise off half back, and I think we're looking at Hoskin Elliott coming in to fulfill that role, maybe Markov, and then you've got I think most likely Lockie Sullivan coming in for Geordie De Goey, and then for Lockie Schultz, you've got Ed Allen. So those are my 3 ins and those are my 3 outs. I think Ned Long will start. Ed Allen will be the sub. What we can take into this game, going in with some positivity, is our ability to defend at the moment. We're the number 2 defensive side in the league behind GWS. So we've conceded the second least amount of goals against sides. And we're right up there with the amount of shots we've conceded as well. We're number 2 there as well. So we're doing really well there, and that's something we couldn't hang our hat on for the most part of last year. So that's comforting to see that we're getting that right. And I think that comes down to, I suppose, our ability to win the ball at the contest and the pressure that we bring on a contest to contest basis. I mean, contested possessions, we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're 6th in the league for that. You pair that in with our tackles, we're the number 3 side for tackles in the league. Tackles inside 50s, we're right up there in the top 4. Pressure acts were there. It's the numbers you want to see trending in the right direction. And there might be some things that aren't going your way. Like you look at sort of where we're scoring from. We're not necessarily building up from the back every time. It's not always pretty, but those other metrics in the tackles in the contest really help you assert your dominance and give you that territory. Like we had 70% forward half territory against Carlton, so that wears on the opposition and grinds them out, and it sets up our defense extremely well. It doesn't expose the likes of a Billy Frampton, who was amazing against Carlton. We're going to need him against Sydney. He'll probably have some hand in, you got Joel Amati, who's there. Who else? We haven't even spoken about Brodie Grundy versus DC in DC's 100th game milestone. So I wish the man all the best. Peter Adams is going to be in the forward line. So it really does seem to be a bit of a makeshift forward line. They've got Hayden McLean, Peter Adams, and Joel Amati in there. So as long as the ball's not coming in quick and fast for Sydney, I think we'll do a very good job to keep these Sydney forwards relatively quiet. The medium-sized forwards are probably the ones we're going to have to watch out for. And I think someone like Isaac Quaynor, who's been a bit quiet because of the role that he offers for the Pies at the moment, I think we're going to ask for a big job of Isaac Quaynor. Will Hayward took 9 coaches' votes and he had 15 touches and 4 goals, 6 shots. And then if Chad Warner is playing forward for the most part of the game, then that's another problem we're going to have there. You're probably going to look at Maynard, Howell, Quaynor switching a lot of the time to get the right matchup throughout the game. So they definitely have some handy trick up their sleeve. Sydney, they got that fella Riley Bice who's doing really well off half back. Let's see if his form is genuine or if it's just a space in time. So yeah, I'm happy for DC. 100 games. To get to 100 games, and you're on the other side of 30, it's just a real testament to his resilience, persistence, and he gets to do it against his old side where I think he maybe played 1 AFL game, and then they gave him away for a packet of chips. We got him for a late 3rd round pick, and look what he's turned into. And they've got Brodie Grundy, who was exceptional, and actually I feel like he definitely got the wood over Tristan Sherry on the weekend from what I saw. Grundy had 20 touches, 13 contested possessions. How many clearances? 6 clearances and 7 score involvements. So he's going to be ready for the fight against DC. He's going to want to take another scalp there. DC just took one of his own in TDK, and TDK tore up Tristan Sherry. So it's going to be an exciting matchup, and there's definitely a few to really keep an eye out for. But ultimately, the fact of the matter is, I feel like right now, if you ask me, hey, Anthony, where do you think Collingwood sit right now in Premiership contention? I'd say we're a top 6 side right now. I still need to see a little bit more. What I saw against Carlton in that 3rd quarter, that gives me more reason to believe, wow, we have that real ability just to put the foot on the throat and end it within 15, 20 minutes. And that's what we did in that game. I saw us against Port where we were able to score well beyond 100 points and ice the game early in the 3rd quarter. So maybe these are signs we haven't seen in the past, and that's why we have this new confidence and belief in this side. And we're going to have to do it without Geordie De Gaulle. We're going to have to do it without Dan Hughes and Lockie Schultz. But as Fly's mantra goes in 2025, we want players who are fit to perform and not fit to play. So if that means we have the most readily available players who are ready to apply pressure at the contest first and foremost, and then everything else comes along with that, then so be it. Let's die on that hill. Let's die on that hill. Do I have anything else for you guys? Not really, besides the fact that tomorrow we've got Moving the Magnets. Tonight will be another Pies presser. We'll react to, I'm pretty sure Fly will do a press conference today at some point. And then Friday, I think we're going to do a watch along, guys. So be ready for that. Thanks for watching. And if you made it to this point of the video, consider subscribing. Go Pies.